Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is currently Saturday. We're finally back on the day that we actually do these types of streams. So, hello, how's it going? Yeah, we're playing a little bit more dual Destinies, and the last time that we played, Edgeworth came back, and we are about to go into a sort of a mock trial of a previous trial that didn't end up going really well. So hopefully maybe we'll fix things. Maybe. Aw, best part of Saturday. Thank you, Mario. I appreciate that. Oakley dokley, let's just go ahead and just jump right into it, shouldn't we? Alright, December 20th. Give me a second, let me make sure the audio is on and all that. Cool. December 20th, 3:11 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 5. Hello. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Can you break them? Is it possible? You did? That's great. I really appreciate it. A real psych lock protects the secret a person is consciously trying to hide. If the person folds under questioning, the lock breaks and the truth comes out. Yep, that's exactly how I got the truth out of Detective Fulbright and Director Cosmo. But a black psych lock protects the secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. A secret that person isn't even consciously aware of. So even they don't know it's there? Then how the heck would it be locked up? It's not even within their brain cavity. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. Okay, so all I have to do is break the psych locks. According to my research, black psych lock is like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If they are ripped off by force, it could cause permanent damage to a person's soul. Screw it. That internal bleeding, when did that ever hurt anybody? In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Athena for good. Gulp. And that sucks because she's the psychiatrist here. Pearls, could you stay by Athena's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden. Alright. But will you be alright by yourself, Mr. Nick? I've been by myself several times. Although, I would appreciate it if you just turned into a gigantic, like, big-boobed, breasted woman out of nowhere and helped me at some point during this entire thing. Thank you. I'm up against Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this trial all my focus and strength. And you can't do that if I'm there. I'll just hold you back. Oh, hey, shut up. No, that's not it. I just meant I can relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Athena. Mario says, no he hasn't. Every time he's by himself, he's failed. That's very true. You're the only one who can do it, Pearls. Alright. I'll do it then. Good luck, Mr. Nick. Good. Now that my mind is at ease, I'd better get ready. I'll just tidy up the evidence and take out what I don't need. It's time to end this nightmare that started 7 years ago. Oh boy. This is going to be a very dusty, musky freaking place. December 20th, District Court. Courtroom number 4. Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. The roof has been completely blown off, and the walls have collapsed. But today, this ruin is my battleground. Oh boy, why is everybody here? This is insane. Funny Stuff says, I tore this black psych lock in half and repaired it, her soul, with only flex tape. Jesus. Now that's a lot of damage. Court, some facsimile thereof is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes. Let's see. I believe this robot I had on this filter. Let me just see.
Not a facsimile, old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap.
Please try not to upset Miss Blackwell. I'm begging you. Well, Funny Stuff says, also, your newest Hat in Time mod is ready to go. You just need to test it a little further to make sure nothing's broke before you post it. Sweet. Oh, I haven't made any kind of announcement about it on the Discord or anywhere, but Wordy has just released a new mod. I may or may not be in it.
Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Athena Sykes.
Howdy, sir. I hate this court system. This is no trial. It's nothing more than a ridiculous farce.
Wait, what did you say?
Edgeworth, did you not hear what I just said to His Honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Recall the case of the UR1 incident, in which a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. That case ushered in the odious dark age of the law.
I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind the case today.
Precisely. The darkness will be dispelled, and glory shall be restored to the court system. I wish it was that simple. Yeah, Mario says it's Aura talking through Klonko. Maybe do her voice with her. Nah. I'd rather not. I'm fine with just regular Klonko.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth. Well,
I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. For 7 years, Simon Blackwell has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I'm sorry, Wright, but the situation is what it is, and I must do what I must. The prosecution moves to indict Athena Sykes on the count of murder in the first degree. Well, snap. Oh, cutscene.
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have. For that is a part of my creed.
Oh.
Then you'd better bring it.
if the two of you are ready.
Then it starts raining.
Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes.
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
Ah, the memories. It's almost like I never left. Except, you know, where did this crater come from? This immense tension between us. It's like we're picking up right where we left off. It's almost like we're doing this for the fanboys. It's my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackwell of false accusations and end this insanity. Kyle Herbert is an amazing Edgeworth. He's got a definite good voice for it, that's for sure. But I have no intention of losing Miss Sykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. I know without a doubt that Athena is innocent. But I don't think Prosecutor Blackwell did it either. I already have somewhat of an idea, but, you know, we'll get there. So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage? At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the truth culprit, but it's clear what that person is. Oh, it's pronounced a bear. A bear! To put it simply, a spy. Bears. The true culprit is a spy. It's going to be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have a choice if I want to save Athena and Blackwell and expose the spy.
Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth.
No need for the Chief Prosecutor bit, Your Honor. I am here as a simple prosecutor.
Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
He was the narrator of Dragon Ball Z. Woo, neat. That's really cool.
On the next season, episode.
The next 12 years of Dragon Ball Z. They stand, stare at each other, and grunt.
Although I've been known of late to give an impressive opening statement myself.
In all the trials I've ever seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement.
Of course, you're right. I was just joking. Just having a little fun.
No, he's glory hogging, that's what it was. So he wasn't doing them just out of fear. Interesting. Let's start with a brief overview of the UR-1 incident. The incident occurred at the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago on October 7th. The victim, psychologist Metis Sykes, was killed in the robotics lab on the 4th floor. Athena's mother. Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackwell was the only person in the corridor to the lab at the time of the murder. And two, this photo, which captured the moment of the crime. Bitby said bears, Banjo confirmed. I just saw that message. And, yeah, there's some rumors going around that maybe something to do with Banjo-Kazooie is going to happen at the Microsoft press conference today. No, not today, but at some point during E3. So, I don't know. I'm staying very skeptical about that. We do know a new ukulele is coming out. You like how his glasses are on his shirt. Yes, attention to detail.
Very incriminating evidence indeed. It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackwell did indeed... Oh, what now?
Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of the kind. This opening statement is over. Now, hurry up and call the witness.
Excuse me, Miss Blackwell, but we must follow proper procedure for these things, you know.
Or perhaps we should heed her wishes, Your Honor. She is the trial's sponsor, after all. Besides, the courtroom is chilly, and sitting for too long can be good. Can't be good for your back. I sat in worse.
Oh, you are very kind to show such concern for the welfare of the elderly.
As skilled as ever at playing the court puppeteer, I see. The prosecution calls its first witness. A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. New testimony? And just who is this witness anyway? It's old bag. Oh, it's Fulbright, okay. Baba Fulbright's the name, and justice we trust. What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackwell. She says she's too busy, what with confining and threatening the hostage and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in, though, in through Clocko.
I'm nothing more than an observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you.
Believing her brother innocent, Miss Blackwell has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. I have here Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving testimony based on these notes. Here I go! Zoom zooms away! Witness testimony. Okay, what is your theory? Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time they say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes. I don't know. If you stuff somebody into it hard enough, maybe. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. It totally goes in the face of the original ruling, huh? About the case she mentions, there were other rolling cases like that one in the lab. But they're not for traveling. They're apparently for moving parts of the equipment. Right? Dem thing. I vaguely remember seeing 3 cases, all different sizes. Yeah, which case was it, though? At the last trial, they thought that Prosecutor Blackwell used the case to steal the rock. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that, too. You see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. And that camera captured footage of Blackwell leaving the scene with a case. That's very thin. Even then, I feel like you couldn't fit, like, a small Athena inside that thing. Unless she is a contortionist. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure. 7-year-old video updated. Yeah, outdated. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside on the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant Athena Sykes found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center in the Sykes family residence. Prosecutor Blackwell most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Sykes was at the estimated time of death.
Miss Sykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony, and there was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been.
So what you're saying is Miss Sykes didn't have an alibi?
That is what the evidence is saying, yes. I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far from convinced. The victim is the accused's mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl?
Of course, the girl had a very strong motive.
Dr. Sykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotion. You're aware of Athena Sykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor?
You're referring to that therapy thing? Yes, she's done it quite a few times in court. Made my job easier.
The ability to read emotions from speech and the subject of her mother's research.
Is, anyway. Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it.
I don't like where this is heading. Research pack mule. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting?
I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments, Miss Sykes felt, oh Jesus, I'm losing all of these lines. Miss Sykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother. No. How does English work again? Can anybody remind me?
Order in the court. What a tragic story. I hardly want to believe it myself. But we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could. Detective Fulbright, please, refer to the notes.
But how's Fulbright? I mean, do the notes also have every single counter-argument involved with what I'm about to ask?
Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover someone.
Hold it!
So, Prosecutor Blackwell willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else.
Yes, that is precisely what Miss Blackwell appears to believe.
And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackwell is no murderer, Mr. Wright. But Athena Sykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine, I expected no less.
Oh, I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating.
I'm only reading notes here, but yeah, I feel extra invigorated too, so let's keep going. Someone else was at the scene at the time they say Simon committed the murder.
Hold it!
Little girl.
But that's just speculation!
No, Miss Blackwell has proper grounds for her claims.
Objection!
Then why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection!
You're the one who screamed, "Hold it!" and cut me off.
Fine, so maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny-weeny bit.
Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Oh, shoot. No, go back. Rolling case. There.
This rolling case, I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo with Prosecutor Blackwell in it, but was absent when the crime scene photos were taken?
Yes, that's the one. And Miss Blackwell has drawn a conclusion from these two photos.
She has? Oh, and what is that conclusion?
You're the one with her notes!
Bubbling idiot. Oh, right, of course. Reading them now. So why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. And how do you propose he hid a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we saw just such a thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show? She fit a grown person into a small box. Oh, yeah. Way to ruin the memory of a good day.
A magic show! Oh, I wish you would have thought to invite me.
Actually, I would have liked to go too. My apologies. I'll invite you both next time, I promise. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? We are so off the rails. Prosecutor Blackwell was using the case to hide someone. There. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes. Oh, really? But that's nothing more than conjecture, and it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackwell had in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection!
There were 3 cases at the scene, but Prosecutor Blackwell used the largest one. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case there just to move that rock.
Objection!
Be that as it may, it doesn't prove Miss Sykes was inside. Then let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in the case?
Well, Mr. Wright, can you? I don't know. I'm gonna save.
In case I have to think of something quick. Yikes. Give a guy some time to think. Let's see. Should I try to bluff my way through what could have been in that case? Sure! I know exactly what Prosecutor Blackwell carried from the scene. I just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat.
Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory, if it's true, that is. This is a crime scene photo taken after Prosecutor Blackwell left, correct?
Oh, wait. Is that the wrong voice? I don't know. All we have to do is compare this with this photo of Prosecutor Blackwell to see what's missing. If he took something with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Lady luck, don't fail me now.
All right then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. What did Prosecutor Blackwell take from the scene of the murder?
I think I may have some kind of an idea. But first and foremost, let me get over to the court record here. Where was that one picture of the... Here we are. Yep, I think I know exactly what it is. And it is this strange taped arm thing.
Take that!
Please notice that there is a robot part on top of the cart in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. Did have some blood on it. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime.
You do appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture.
It's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? No. Speaking of which. Hey. Hold on a second. Filter, work.
What are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball.
Stingy. What happened to the age of free previews? Hello, Rage and Fire. Your Honor, about this robot part. Doesn't it look like it could be an arm from that robot there?
Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But the case is still too big to be practical for just the moon rock and a robot arm.
But was it really just the one arm that was in there? If it wasn't Athena in the case, then maybe... I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like the one here. Your Honor, it is the defense's assertion that it was this other robot that was in the case.
What?
Reasonable assumption.
We can't be certain that part belonged to a robot. Yes, it looks like the arm of the one before us, but it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandages, making it difficult to verify what it is.
I know for a fact that it's a robot arm. I can even tell which robot it belonged to, just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not.
But Mr. Wright, I thought you were more of the technologically illiterate type.
I am, sir.
When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned.
Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot that arm belonged to. Right, and that would be... I think that's linked back to the evidence that was inside the case, which is over here. Bingo boingo!
Take that!
The robot in this picture is named Ponko. But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that.
Oh, she must have thought that machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild.
Does your grandchild usually take care of robots like that? Yeah, I don't know. The robot arm, the crime scene, had the same bandaging wrapped around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko.
Order in the court! Order, I say! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this?
I concede that the robot is about the same size as a child, but it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it was the largest of the cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there.
The case does come up to about mid-thigh on Prosecutor Blackwell. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that.
They've got me there. But what if it's collapsible? So then in Prosecutor Blackwell make Ponko fit into the case by clearly it was a dismantling. Of course Ponko wouldn't fit. All Prosecutor Blackwell had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside the rolling case.
It appears to be a robot assembly device.
Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. That sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Dick? No, for God's sakes.
Sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point there.
Phoenix and Edgeworth passing each other the popcorn in court. Neat.
Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Yeah, if the body was there before it happened. But what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used in... what?
You mean the sword?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I'd like your opinion as a woman of science. Isn't it true that the katana could have been used to take the robot apart?
I suppose so. Their joints are made from a very tough material. A blade could slice through them.
Thank you for your expert opinion. Miss Blackwell, thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Ponko was taken apart. I'll get my sword for you, Danny. In addition, since the rest of Ponko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation.
You can't mean...
That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred by the bloody katana. Most likely, the rest of Ponko is scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet.
Not hearing this.
Therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot. Miss Sykes never was at the scene at the time of the murder.
My head, my body, where am I?
Order in the court!
It's true that Ponko was found in pieces after the murder, and I'll admit I repaired her myself afterwards.
There! Finally, got a confession of that, jeez. Yes! I'm finally making some progress. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer to proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence.
Objection!
What?
Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I concede that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot.
All right. What's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight.
Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that the defendant was carried from the scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Ponko and Miss Sykes could have both been inside that case! Couldn't have.
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. Thanks to the defense.
Edgeworth, he's been one step ahead of me this whole time.
In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body as if he were holding something or someone.
That's hardly evidence.
I have proof. The surcoat Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. The victim's blood was found on the front of it, and the stain had a highly distinctive shape.
You didn't want to tell me this before the trial started, you jackass?
A blood stain with a distinctive shape? Please continue, Mr. Edgeworth.
I'm just thinking the judge needs some popcorn now.
7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item, of which there is only one in the world, a special pair of headphones made just for her.
She always wore those big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research.
Analysis showed the bloodstain to be in the exact same shape as these headphones. In other words, there was no mere blood splatter. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones, and then was imprinted onto Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp. A most gruesome stamp indeed. Can't get that from a USPS. Blackwell carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Sykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument.
Yeah. Would help if the footage was not would help if it was footage and not a still image. That is true. Phoenix and Edgeworth passing the judge the popcorn in court like, eh.
Order! If the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens.
What is wrong with English today? Holy shit.
It deepens the suspicion against her.
But we've also shown that my robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
Not multiple robots. Or maybe multiple robots.
I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer.
I don't really think that, no, but you can't say the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turned out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand.
A robot witness?
This is going to be silly.
Order in the court. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this? It's silly as balls, but hey, I'm used to it. Mr. Wright has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. So, why not a robot? Nothing surprises me anymore with him. Very well. I will allow the witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Ponko.
Any objection? No? Okay, apparently we don't have any objections.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Hold on a second. I need to swap over to the bean robot.
My name is not Witness. My name is Ponko.
Yes, I realize that, but when you are at the witness stand, you are the witness.
No, I'm not. I'm Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko.
What an utterly inflexible little robot.
You're the last person who should be calling anybody inflexible.
You remind me of my grandchild, who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious.
Alright, Ponko, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions?
I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Metis Sykes. Boy, I don't know, this place is either ridiculously close to the Space Center or the Wi-Fi capabilities of these robots. Like, the connection to the server must be incredible.
It was 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, around 2 p.m., in the robotics lab.
Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab.
Got it!
It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all.
This is great! I just knew Ponko must have seen something important. Well, you don't know that just yet.
A murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable.
The judge seems ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild.
So, little Ponko, do you think you can give us your testimony today? Oh, it's so cute. It's cute as a button.
Anyways, Ponko.
I went to the robotics lab at around 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then, Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, it was cleaning the room. Wait, I was cleaning the room, rather. And Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point.
Shit!
Well, it sounds like the defendant was without question at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder.
I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? Are you that daft?
At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that the witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So, what are you suggesting? The witness's statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child.
Yeah, but she's a buff, swole child.
They don't, but... Yes. What the witness's statements are telling us is... that the defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment!
What? What? No! Someone killed this robot!
Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse?
Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised.
Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued. I see. Murder after a heated argument, and then the victim fell down. I agree that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Ponko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that.
When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode. But I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory.
So much RAM chip.
You may as well admit defeat now, Wright. A cross-examination would be useless.
Don't be ridiculous. A cross-examination is never useless.
Until now. Think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time.
Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. No, I want my cross-examination and I want it now.
I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about wasting time.
Very well. Even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright. I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Well, funny stuff. Posted the new mod. Hope it doesn't completely break now that it's on the workshop. Well, let's see.
I went to the robotics lab at around 2 p.m. for my regular recharge.
Your regular recharge. What is that exactly?
I have to refill my battery's power or else I stop working. I go to the lab to do that.
So that recharge occurred around 2 p.m. around the time of the murder?
That's right. I go every day at 2 p.m. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis.
Hugged her, huh? Which Edward took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. You said that the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother. Is that right?
Yes, they were talking very loud, but I couldn't tell what they were saying.
Couldn't tell? Even though they were speaking so loudly?
I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me.
How freaking convenient.
If it listened to every voice, it would be a little better than a mobile eavesdropper.
Well, that explains why some of Ponko's testimony is so vague.
It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that?
And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything.
You brain dead robot? I don't want to delve too deeply here, but could you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at this moment?
Mommy Metis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound.
Her heart?
Mr. Wright, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system.
Now that he mentions it, I do remember reading something like that there. Yeah. They detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. But, wait a minute. That means, if Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment... Paco, how was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat?
Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then.
Of all the unlucky timing! If you had heard anything after that, you could have possibly proved that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder.
I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry.
The robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. But it doesn't appear it detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing.
It did, rather.
After Mommy Metis' heart started pounding in surprise, she fell by the window. It was the round window on the workbench side of the room.
The workbench, huh? Paco must be talking about that table to the right, where the giant robot is now. Is there something critical in Ponko's statement just now? Sure, why not? Your Honor, I believe this statement is critical. I'd like it added to her testimony.
Very well. Ponko, could you please add that statement to your testimony?
That's a good little girl. Stop it. Stop petting the robot.
Mommy Metis fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room.
Let's see. There are 2 round windows in the robotics lab. Which one did you mean?
The one on the right, near the hanging scroll. That hanging scroll was Mommy Metis' prized possession.
Okay, in the pictures of the crime scene from 7 years ago, there is definitely a hanging scroll and a Japanese theater mask hanging on the workbench side wall. But is there some problem with this statement? There must be.
After I charged up, I was cleaning the room and Mr. Simon came in.
Prosecutor Blackwell? I wonder what he what he went there for.
His objective? I don't know!
I guess I can't very well ask Ponko to speculate. So what happened after Prosecutor Blackwell arrived?
And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point.
You don't remember what happened next? An error, huh? I wonder if...
All data is suddenly cut off at that point. I don't know anything after that.
The answer to that question is right here. Here, he murdered you.
What?
What?
According to the defense's theory, this photo shows when the robot was being taken apart.
Exactly. We can conclude that Ponko's error was the result of her being dismantled.
Indeed.
She's literally right there.
The bodies of these robots are designed to be controlled remotely by a separate computer.
Yes, that's because what Miss Blackwell explained to us too. Yeah, that's basically it. She said that their hearts and memories are stored on a separate computer.
When the witness was taken apart, she lost the use of her body, but not her memories. That's how she is now still able to give testimony about the events of that day.
Fascinating. It's as if she can be seriously wounded, but her soul still burns.
There are a few parts of Ponko's testimony that are hard to interpret. Edgeworth chose to interpret hugged as stabbed. But I better try to iron out who did what, where, and to whom for myself. Hold on, Athena. I'm gonna save you. Okay. So the testimony that we're probably going to be doing this with is... fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room. Clearly we got something that we need to present with that. First off, I'm going to save just because I like nice little cushions. What's weird about that? I know we got a couple of different pictures of that side of the room. I mean, one thing that I know for sure is that this is not the side of the room where that window is, so I guess you could technically interpret that as she was moved? Maybe. Don't really know. Yeah, there's a part of me that feels like it has something to do with the 7-year-old photos. And not much else. Okay, well, what about this? Is there anything special about this that I should be pointing out? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that it's probably this. And the autopsy report might have something. Weapon pierced the heart, and so death was instantaneous. Well, hold on wait. If death was instantaneous, how quickly did Ponko go into sleep mode is what I want to know. Because, yeah, I feel like, heightened heart rate, it's more like the heart rate would just go out. Just like, and then suddenly she disappeared. I don't understand where she went. Regardless, I'm going to try these photos.
Objection!
There we go. Ponko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough.
I was helpful. Hooray! I'm so happy!
Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, her body was discovered on the operating table. Yep.
But the operating table and the workbench are two different locations.
She can warp through time and space. Exactly, Your Honor. We just learned a new crucial fact. What could explain the two very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what. The victim moved. An 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, what Ponko observed near the workbench couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder. Mariokimon sends, like, heart Ponko. Ponko is adorable.
Whew, I'm very relieved to hear that. Glad to know that the murder wasn't committed in front of little Ponko here.
Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother, nothing more. Yeah, but she fell.
Right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever.
Green? But I can't really recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit.
Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say?
If the defendant could move the body herself, she could have had to move it... she could have had it moved for her.
Moved for her? But Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes were the only ones there.
I agree, since the robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system. It would have been aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present.
Then who do you suggest move the body?
Don't you know it's the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Penko, allow me to ask you a question.
My name is Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko!
For some reason, I am really hungry for chicken. I believe you said you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table?
Yes, I did. Athena asked me to.
Son of a bitch! Athena asked you to?
And what did you move, little Ponko?
I don't know. Unless something has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is.
An ID tag, you say?
Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them to tell us what a thing is.
Senor Pan-cooked. That paper in the lab did mention something about that. Yeah, but you can also recognize a person by facial features, too. So you should have been able to notice her. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag. Unless somehow she had a helmet on.
So it would appear that Miss Penko here can't identify what it moved.
My name is Ponko!
But we humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not?
We do?
Well, I do, at the very least. Miss Penko, on the defendant's command, moved the body onto the operating table.
Nope, not convinced. Ponko, did you really move Dr. Sykes' body? This is really important. Isn't there any way you could tell?
I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell.
Give it up, Wright. If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She kept the jacket with her ID tag on it draped over a chair in the robotics lab, and only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
No, I definitely object to this. But Ponko was equipped with a facial Yeah. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't, so that means...
Objection!
A face can easily be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes.
He's right.
To summarize, Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench, then, using the robot, she moved the body to the table, where she removed the sword and was stained in blood.
All right. Okay. What mask are you referring to, though?
Order! But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place?
You want a reason? Very well.
What? You can't possibly have an explanation.
Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friend. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature?
I believe I read that robots can be assembled and disassembled there, is that right?
That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds.
In the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. I was so impressed by what Mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looked just like magic to me what she could do. Are we really playing this card? You can't possibly be suggesting.
This young, sheltered girl had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people.
But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that.
She must have thought the machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild.
No way. I refuse to believe it.
Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanish without a trace...
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can.
With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table...
No! Don't say another word! Just stop!
...was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime.
That can't be true! No, Jesus. Yep, that's grim. Yeah, but her body was not pulled apart. Can the thing notice that it's not a machine?
Order in the court! Order in the court, I say!
Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing?
Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
But I'm the irrational one here. I can break you in half like a stick of bread. But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her.
I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way.
What do you mean?
After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she didn't want to make it appear as if it had never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation.
But
we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt, remain unchanged.
This can't be true.
Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim?
I'm sure the judge probably doesn't want any of this. Just like, oh no. Evidence. Right. Let's see. I can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence.
Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now, accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough.
What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need for further prolong this trial.
Edgeworth's argument seems solid enough, but There's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. What do I do? There has to be something, but I can't think of a single thing. Yeah, someone help! Huh? Nope, not Ponko. Not you, not Judge. Hello!
Prosecutor Blackwell? This is quite the farce you are conducting here. I could die from laughter.
Prosecutor Blackwell? What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise.
Go on, we're listening! Could this be the miracle I need? Yes. But what is Prosecutor Blackwell trying to pull here? I don't know, just being an awesome samurai.
7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor, and don't think you can alter that fact now. Your boldness, I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer.
Oh, of course, Prosecutor Blackwell. Please, go ahead. Dear Lord, please tell me he still has his, electric whips and stuff, and chains and stuff.
I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes, but when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then, I committed the act, and how cathartic it was.
But little Ponko have here witnessed the victim falling. In other words...
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened.
Well, which would be...
She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body either, of course, meaning she must have left the room.
So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described in her testimony?
You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something?
Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself, and she always had Ponko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena.
What robot? For what purpose? This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, and yet...
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, are you trying even now to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a close today?
Objection!
Not with that attitude.
You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer, beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell?
Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over. Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder?
That's right. So, let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx.
Jesus. This guy's macabre as hell. Oh boy.
Don't you... Oh, sorry. Wrong robot. Da-da-da.
Don't you dare, Judge! Don't forget I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her?
Miss Blackwell!
Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor?
Well, shoot.
Blackwell, you selfish... Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict.
Is this really happening? Is it really gonna end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted to do it so bad. Even now. I want to fly out of here and go save him. No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. Funny Stuff says, honestly, I like to imagine these little slip-ups as in-universe, oops, wrong robot. Yeah, just make the assumption that all of my mistakes are intentional, and that makes me feel better. I can't let this happen. But I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Or do you? Oh, wahoo. Come on, please, somebody. Hand me something conclusive. Hey! Athena! What are you? Are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. Oh, thank freaking God. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Her power might be just the thing I need to get us through this.
Objection! Sykes, Dono. No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent.
Objection!
Ah, the classic long, pauses. These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know?
What are you talking about?
Do you remember that horrible, horrible trial? I remember a lot of cutscenes. Please, you have to listen to me. And then this cutscene. He didn't kill her. His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her. Well, now she's in a position where she can actually professionally say that. Even now, every time I stand in a courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. This jackass. Not being heard, no matter how hard you try. Feeling so helpless. Jesus, all of these guys are assholes. Caught in people's stares, so scared that it feels like your chest is in a vice. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet you found a way to keep your fears at bay and became a lawyer. Thanks. That's because one day, I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and studied harder. Or, both hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction.
But, Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused, after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackwell innocent, then...
The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years and to face the truth. Athena's being so brave, confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance to save them both. We'll definitely see. Prosecutor Blackwell, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago.
Meh. Fine. But your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily.
Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart.
Beep, bop, boop, science!
Alright, let's see how this works out.
I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. When I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead.
Why are you so freaking pissed at that point?
I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was.
What? Okay, wait a minute. You seem to be pretty happy about the fact that she's there. Why? This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that?
Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that.
Just now you said that you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead?
I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that.
Grr. The second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. We'll just have to keep chipping away at him, then, bit by bit. I'll go ahead and save. 'Cause I'm sure there are a couple of different ones, too. Let me see. Could you update his testimony, Athena? You got it, boss. Do. Boop.
Went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. When I found Athena in the robotics lab, I was relieved. But I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return.
It seems like his anger is just completely gone at this point.
And when she did, I plunged the katana in.
What? Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackwell.
What?
When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had laid in wait to kill her be sad at her death?
Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances.
He can't be talking about that, can he? I was just a convenient subject for her research.
Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments.
My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject.
What?
I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill.
So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright, how are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? It's hell, but whatever. I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. Shit. It went up? I've never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackwell is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claims sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? I can either use an evidence-based approach, if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should just look for any consistency in his emotions. Give me a moment. Doing good.
There are no flaws in my testimony, and his baldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me of these chains already.
Objection!
I don't think so. Not while I'm around. No. Contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotion. Which should I tackle first? Let me think. I'm gonna gun for the emotions first. I feel like you can probably do both. Okay, let's look for inconsistent emotions. Got it, boss. But if you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Okay. Funny Stuff says, imagine going into court and seeing the judge wearing a wig. Was I planning on uploading the rest of the series on the YouTube? Oh yes, definitely. You usually can't make it to streams, so that's the only time you really watch them. Okay, that's fine. It's just I got a major backlog and I'm trying to work on that. As well as I've been busy with a whole spew of different things. Anyway, heard crying from next door. Of course, I was worried. I hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. But before I could lead Athena out of there, curse my luck, Dr. Sykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Okay. Okay, well, I mean, I can't really see much of anything going on here. Is this blind up to this point? Yeah, invisible opinion. I'm actually pretty blind on pretty much everything from this point onward. Athena, I don't know. Maybe I should swap back over to evidence. If you see an unusual and out-of-place emotion, just point it out. Is there really an inconsistency in emotions, though? Let's try his testimony. Dual Destiny streams are rare. Probably because it's on 3DS, and unless you, like, emulate or something, that's hard to do. Which, no. I got it on the physical thing. Okay, let's compare the testimony with the evidence one more time. Heard crying from next door. Of course I was worried. RIP 3DS. Oh, did they announce that they're gonna just stop doing 3DS stuff, or is that still, like, out there? Hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. But before I could lead Athena out of there, curse my luck, Dr. Sykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Once again, I'm in a situation where I feel like I don't have anything to counter this. Look, 3DS was close to beating the PSP. Shoot. At least it's a good race. If we can't find any contradictory testimony, we could try looking for, Alright. I feel like I might have a better piece of luck going for emotions first. The new Persona Q2 is the last exclusive 3DS game. Shoot. Oh, well. I mean, they got a Switch. It's fine. Heard crying from next door. Of course I was worried. I'm gonna try and call the shock. No. Okay, no, that's not it. When we view your emotions alongside your testimony, we find the unexpected emotion was not that. Okay, so shock was not a thing. Hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. He's very surprised about this. Is the happiness perhaps something? I don't think so. Nope. Maybe it's the fact that, like, that's an overly gigantic amount of surprise. Oh, did I get it? Yeah. How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab?
Alright, fine, I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Sykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena. But she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day.
Persona 5 was the last PS3 game. Interesting. Is Persona just going to be the last hurrah for everything? Wait. Does that mean smash it? No, not going to think about it. So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it?
That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko up with the katana that was there in the lab. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade.
Oh, look at that idea I just shushed away. No! Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. Lying sack of crap. It's at 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as sharp, as strong as a katana. Alright, what should I tackle first then? Alright, well, there's really no more emotions I could possibly attack now, so fine, let's tackle his testimony then. There might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Give it a thorough check. Open the robotics lab door, just then. Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. Wait, wasn't there... Didn't he say at one point that, like... Video showing corridor to the crime scene. Blackwell was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime. Taking the robot apart, there's a blood stain on the end of... I mean... Could it possibly be that there is no sign of Athena in this picture? Oh no, he's covering up his lies with flex tape! There, let me try this.
Objection!
Eh? Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo.
That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, is it? How many more times must I see that which damned...
see that which
damned me for my sin?
It's the blood? Oh, probably. The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with a katana?
I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright.
No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana.
The katana already had blood on it? So then it must have been the victim's blood.
That's right. But if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture.
What? But that couldn't be!
Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first, before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell, now.
You have no idea what you're doing.
His voice. There's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool of something. Or something. Right. I mean, are we not surprised? It's Blackwell.
Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave.
Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Oh dear, here we go. Rush time. Following the sound of crying, I open the lab door, and then I saw it, that terrible scene. But before I could lead Athena out of there, curse my luck, Dr. Sykes came in. All right, well, clearly something about the terrible scene. What terrible scene? Let me select Ponko, maybe. The root cause of all these emotions is there. I'm actually not getting any particularly big readings there, Mr. Wright. Yes, that's not it then. What could have caused Blackwell to react with all these okay, I assume it's probably something to do... Oh, shoot. It's probably to do with the robotics lab. What? Okay. So, let me see. What if Something to do with Athena? Oh dear. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor?
You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it.
Thank goodness there's no health penalty here. Yes. Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too?
Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true? Right, Dono?
I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door.
Curse you, Phoenix Wright!
Oh boy, he's about to spill all of the beans. Hopefully. Oh boy, darkness.
It was a tragedy, one I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor, and standing between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes, as she sweetly said,
Oh, this is creepy. Yeah, no. Nothing.
"Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her."
And there we have the reason the game is rated M. That face! I agree.
That's what I saw, and now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted.
I can see why you bottled that up. Phoenix just tears off his defender badge. Just like, I'm out! Here. No. Prosecutor Blackwell finally tells the truth, and this is what it is. It's beyond devastating. I tried to take my mother apart. No! So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena!
As I said, right? The truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspirations of my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner. Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people, but she loved her daughter with all her heart.
She loved me.
Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voice of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much?
Oh, were they blocking out hearts? Was she trying to, like, tinker them? Yes, my head hurt every time I wore them.
No, Athena. It's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power was much stronger than that it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life.
No,
That can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much?
Her love for you was real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew. But what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it.
So you took the blame yourself? And... okay, you and your mentor are more alike than you know.
Ponko was a witness, so I put it into the case, held Athena close, and vacated the lab.
Jesus. Did you guys hear that? Holy hell. Somebody just went, like, whizzing by on their Harley.
I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute, and I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. It would seem that we now have all the facts of this case.
No! Shut your face.
No! Not yet! It can't end like this!
Objection!
Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed.
That sounded like a whale, not Harley. I don't know. It sounded like some kind of a motorized vehicle. I could feel the freaking vibration from it.
Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you?
I'm not! But this... I can't give up now. I have to say something. Anything. Even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright. Yes, Athena. It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That's the truth. Ask the famous question, is this the end? No. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. Somebody bust down those doors with evidence, please. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall?
It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, with the court, will the court give Miss Sykes this opportunity to confess?
Very well. Then if you would, please take the stand, Miss Sykes.
Well, hopefully my little lawyer magic will do some work here. You never depicted Blackwell's voice as Vine Sauce Joel.
Yo, everybody, it's me, Joel.
Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. I suppose this means that in the event you're found guilty, they're just gonna kill you tomorrow. Athena?
Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt, and bring everything to its conclusion.
Yeah, but what about this spy thing? Oh, Edgeworth knows, doesn't he? I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Blackwell runs a Critical-esque YouTube channel. Your Honor, please find me guilty.
I dare say. These are all memories that no one but the murderer would have.
I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
I do.
Objection!
I do, Your Honor. Yeah, I get to cross-examine the witness.
But Mr. Wright,
But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless. Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer. I said that you never change, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Do you? Oh. I see. Yes. Let's just try and crack these one by one by one by one by one.
I did a little research. I looked into these special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself.
There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart, there might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence.
I hope for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Sykes' confession?
My memory's still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands and the feeling of it stabbing in deep.
We literally saw this scene about 10 seconds ago, but you know, there's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell.
If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to the court now.
So, way to the blade. There's no blood on the freaking handle!
Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright?
Flashback 30 seconds ago like Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes. I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it! I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers! That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please, focus on the handle of this sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right.
Oh my! He's done it again, by Jove!
The defendant must simply have confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail. Watch me, you asshole! But she also said, there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories meant? Gladly! Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone, but she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? The blood was wiped off the weapon. The defendant used a different weapon. Well, first thing that kind of pops into my brain. I mean, I really don't know if we're going to be able to test luminol at this stage, but maybe there was some other weapon that did this. Miss Sykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? My regular shenanigans, sir. This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, It could help me prove her innocent.
A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be, exactly?
Right, of course he would ask that. Dude! I see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking in, as always? How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here. Not now. That's right. I did. Because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. What? Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Was there? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something. There's a high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene. Huh.
But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Terran case.
Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees, and a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. I was in the investigation. Wait, it was in the investigation. I was not in the investigation report. I apologize. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Objection!
I swear I didn't do it.
Of course I knew that. Once you told me just now.
Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here is a photo of its contents.
You're right. I don't see any kind of bladed tool.
Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design on these handles?
Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
Opens investigation report. Edgeworth's hiding in there.
Hi, it's me. I'm in the investigation report.
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife.
And what proof do you have of that?
Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth.
You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. I mean, look at this cravat. It's beautiful.
Now, he should be watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright.
Right, put your glasses back on, goddammit. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them.
Ah, I see they do, but what significance does that have?
It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing.
Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with?
Yeah. Incoming Professor Layton puzzle. Yay! Edgeworth, just let it go, man.
Show the court then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were to rearrange these tools?
Sir?
Take that!
And what design is this supposed to represent?
The GIAXA logo, Your Honor. It's on all the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, GIAXA is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Look at how brightly the GIAXA logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. GIAXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program?
Ah, I think I see it now, but,
Yes, with just the tools shown in this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot... There we go, virtual knife. It would complete the GIAXA logo.
So it would! So that means...
Gyakuza. Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. Are we really? And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. There we go. Flustered Edgeworth. He back.
Order in the court.
Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes.
Did she stab a puppy? I don't... Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything?
Come again.
What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife?
Don't be ridiculous. Or are you changing the premise of your entire argument?
I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Sykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her personage until Blackwell carried her away.
That does clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence.
If in fact the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence for the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court. So are you.
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder? And that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands? No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother.
I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes, and the suspect keeps coming back. It's almost as if...
Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true, and the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix Wright, when will you open your eyes and accept the truth?
Yeah. Damn it. Again. Can I have somebody come up here and help me? Ugh. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if...
Mr. Wright, you've fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do.
Is giving up really the only option? No, it's not. No, it's not. No. Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in to doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor. Not yet. It isn't over yet.
Right?
I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her, to the very end. A defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. Right, time for a brain blast! Don't really need to do this, but screw it. There. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with the utility knife. This must have been what Panko witnessed as Athena's hug. But Prosecutor Blackwell didn't see the knife at the scene. This means that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the utility knife from the lab? Ooh, this is your phone ringtone? It's a kick-ass ringtone. Who took the utility knife from the lab? Why would Metis have taken the utility the utility knife from the lab? I can't see it. Yeah, a third person, clearly. If I trust in Athena, then I have to conclude there was a third person at the scene. But according to Ponko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only two there. So then, how did this third person manage to escape Ponko's detection? I know! This person must have fooled Ponko's facial recognition feature by covering Ponko's face! Their own face. But wait a minute. Ponko has a heartbeat detection system too. Even if they covered their own face, Ponko would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it! The culprit could have covered their face and posed as which person to avoid detection? As Ponko. Interesting. Interesting. If the culprit posed as the victim, that would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features. The culprit used this in order to pose as the victim. Her jacket! The culprit could have posed as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag on it, but that still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Ponko could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too. So does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead by that time? If that's the case, then who did Athena stab? The real culprit! That's it! The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her! The real culprit! And now I'm just gonna stare out into space. Excuse me, people. Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to hostage negotiations.
You are absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I hereby, oh, for fuck's sake.
I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second. Because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent. But Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Yes, Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother.
What are you saying, Mr. Wright?
The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Sykes!
What?
I'm destroying this crowd's brain. Do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? According to the robot's statement, there was no third person there. Did you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time?
Objection!
After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? You make that pose all the time, regardless of the facts. I'm not a loony. Clonko's strange malfunction. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. Need to swap over to the robot thing again.
Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay?
Mr. Terran? But that's Apollo you're talking to.
Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo is possessed by Clay's ghost.
Oh, you're cringe. Who's cringe? Funny Stuff says, Athena and Blackwell passing popcorn while Phoenix and Edgeworth. There's so much popcorn today. That was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jacket ID tag. All because Clonko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, a mask could nullify the robot's facial recognition. And then, All the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection!
Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also has heartbeat detection system? Yeah. If there were a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them.
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by that time, Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating.
What? So does that mean?
Yes, Your Honor, the person Miss Sykes stabbed. This third person, who was posing as Dr. Sykes, is her mother's real killer.
But that's
Impossible! I'm glad I could shock Mr. Edgeworth again. A mask? The person I stabbed was wearing a mask? Think?
Order in the court! Miss Sykes, did you say something?
Uh-oh, the enemy said impossible. A mask. Yes, I remember. Athena? Trope 2 activated. What is it? I broke one. Or all. Let me see. I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head.
Miss Sykes, are you all right?
Everybody chill. No! Okay. Crap. Yeah? It's been a while since we've seen any of these things break. The black psych locks. They're breaking! Is it all of them, though? Come on. Blow them down like a wrecking ball. I think that's the first time we've broken through those legitimately. It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened the day my mother was murdered. Right, who was this, strange man in a mask? Yeah, we didn't break them in Apollo Justice. They just showed up one moment. They're gone! The black psych locks are finally gone! You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's all right, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... It's all right. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena. She was on the floor by the workbench with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there.
A man?
Quiet, Your Honor! Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there and... He dodged it first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me, and I passed out. Ka-ching! When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her. I thought... So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. The judge would be so bad in a movie theater. Yes, he would. Something's wrong with Mom, so I had to fix it. The dramatic line. So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new evidence. Crucial, right? A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man covered the victim's face. and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit.
Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything about that?
Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab.
Oh, the mask hanging here on the wall.
It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that a no mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom.
Ah, that's our spiritualism. Oops, I pressed a button. A phantom?
It would seem that a new suspect has emerged, and that means that all suspicion against Miss Sykes has...
No, it's not. You know better than that.
You see? This is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict.
Miss Blackwell, this is not good.
A new suspect? Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess's groggy little head?
She's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence. Do you? Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother. Athena, I'm so glad for you. More and more memories are coming back now. So, I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab about 2 p.m. to recharge. And now this filter, for God's sakes.
I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. And after that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything.
I see where you're going with this. If Mommy Metis was really the killer in disguise, right, then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m. Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find the person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.? Ooh. Wait. When was this taken? Oh boy. Two photos of the body and crime scene that were taken by the first person to discover the body. Okay, can't take that. Blood stained at the end of the robotics arm. Diagram of the... Is it the 7-year-old video? Because that just points this in another direction. This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then?
I don't see anything in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check.
Of course they didn't. Just as I thought. So, if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene.
Very well then, let's take a look.
Oh. Who are we gonna find? There, please, stop it right there. Oh.
It's just like you said.
Why the hell did we miss this?
It's just like you said. There's a man leaving the scene of the crime.
Miss Sykes, do you remember this person? That's him! I'm sure of it! He's wearing my mother's jacket! I did, but what I really wanted to see was her jacket. That jacket on display? That was Dr. Sykes? Hey, there's the cut. Can you see it? There's the slash I made with the utility knife that day. And I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere.
So then, everything Miss Sykes said.
Exactly. It proves that Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hit her face with a handkerchief. Then, he disguised himself with Dr. Sykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Ponko charged up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Ponko to come to the lab for her regular recharge. By leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Ponko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. All to disguise the real time of death.
Objection!
What, are you going to say it's convoluted? I don't think so. It's a nice theory, Mr. Wright, but I'm afraid that it's just not possible. What? Why not? The victim's jacket is clearly visible right there in the photo. And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond doubt that it belonged to the victim. If the person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket, then how could it possibly have wound up back at the crime scene? What's going on? That doesn't make sense. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did it get back to the lab? Let me save here. How did you get it back to the lab? The killer brought it back. The victim brought it back. The defendant brought it back. I have no idea how this could be possible, but I have found in a lot of Phoenix Wright type cases that a lot of times the silliest answer is probably true. Dr. Sykes must have brought it back to the lab herself. I'm afraid she would have had to come back from the dead to accomplish this feat. Care to explain to the court exactly how she managed it? Don't be ridiculous, Edgeworth. Everybody knows that's impossible. Exactly the prosecution point. Oh, come on. Okay, fine, whatever. I did pretty good today. I didn't get any penalties until this point. Okay, alright. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did he get back to the lab? That's really silly. Come on. Hey, you know that this game would go there. Not like you cross-examined a parrot or anything. Okay. Or an orca. I'm just gonna say the killer brought it back. The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Just one parrot. Oh yeah, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. I forgot about that parrot. Contradiction resolved! Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackwell and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. So, where do you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? A puzzling question indeed. When did the culprit have the chance to bring the jacket back? I'm gonna say when the body was found. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. Wright, do you realize the implication of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of the split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body. I would never have thought of that. Well, let's just get a round of how many people discovered the body.
Order in the court. What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth?
Beats me, Your Honor. The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probe's capsule in preparation for the Hat 1 launch. One of those people had a special bag to transport the capsule in.
Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag?
Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people.
You will? How quick can you do it?
We should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. If this person felt the need to hide his face with the theater mask, it might mean that his facial data was once registered.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, does this mean...
I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memories to be credible. You win, Wright. Not that this was ever an official trial, anyway.
Oh, you try hard.
Do my ears deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding?
Well, let's not get too hasty into things. Let's see what they find. Is it true, boss? Does this mean I can't believe it. It's over. I won. Stop saying it. I proved that both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent. No, you didn't. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial?
That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say I see no need for further prolong. Hey.
Not you either, Your Honor.
Now silence.
The little princess who was truly beloved by Metis and who repaid that love with death. All these years, hating Athena was the only thing that kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anybody tell me? How am I supposed to go on?
Miss Blackwell? She's losing her cool.
How unlike you, Aura. Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and she chose you as her partner. Isn't that...
Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her! Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted!
Then what did you want from her?
Did you really just go there, Your Honor? Love!
Aura, there's something I wanted to say, if you will lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on who Metis' murderer is.
They just stop talking and let the other person take the stand to interrupt each other. Yeah, these are very nice individuals that are just swapping back and forth. You do?
Right, Dono, you asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past.
That's right. The Phantom. The person Blackwell has been looking for. Even from behind bars.
7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hat 1 rocket.
The spy.
But he was no ordinary spy. We knew naught about him. His background appearance, we came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred, and I obtained a lead on him. Oh, how exciting! What was the lead? A recording of the Phantom's voice, but the quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet I hope Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology.
And that scientist was Dr. Sykes.
Yes. A spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to Hat 1, Dr. Sykes' results and the recording were surely among his targets. But his search of the Space Center bore no fruit, so he must have started to panic. He couldn't find them? But where could they have been? Who's to say?
Wow. I bet he's never let that out of his sight all these years.
How in the world did you smuggle them into prison?
Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner's especially talented at that sort of thing.
Yay! Hawkman!
I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout his underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher, became my taunt.
And what about the results that Dr. Sykes drew up for you? Was there any useful information, rather?
Here, you can see for yourself. But take good care of it. It's all I have left of my mentor.
I will. I better hold on to this real tight. Right, don't let a hawk take it. Do you think they have, like, a reconnaissance hawk who can take stuff away from the people that took the stuff away from them via hawk? Bob, the tomato. Psychological profile classified. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation, huh?
A spy who experiences no emotions, not sadness, nor anger, and naturally, no fear. He is the very definition of a phantom. A monster with no heart, don't you see?
I'm getting Dr. Shelley vibes from this.
This creature is the rot that destroyed our lives and set what ails us into motion.
The Phantom indeed, a fitting name for the one who has brought darkness to our world. Dr. Shelley? That's the first thing I thought.
Well then, it seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a formal trial, but I do follow protocol. You too follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdict and bring these proceedings to an end.
Whatever. Do what you want.
You'll hear no more objections from me. No objections from me. Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Who is going to bust in?
Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, could you please take the stand?
He's already there.
As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Sykes.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, thank you. Thank you for everything. Athena, you're more than welcome.
If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. Why? You?
What the fuck, man? Apollo! What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you saved Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet. What do you have to say, jackass? Why, Apollo? Why would you do this to us? Shoot. Why would Apollo do this to us? Find out next time on the exciting adventures. Shoot. And yes, I think that will be... Oops, I actually didn't save. I think I'm going to go ahead and save now then. But yep, I guess that will do it for the stream tonight, just as soon as I save the thing. There we go. Next time on Dragon Ball Bitby. Right, the tension keeps rising. And on top of this, we also have another trial that we got to get around to figure out what the heck happened with Clay and all this nonsense. So, holy mother of God. Oh, Invisible Opinion and Mario Pokemon are currently yelling. Don't end. Hey, come on. If it can last for... I'm pretty sure that this could probably last for the entirety of another stream. So, personally, I think it's fine to take a little break. Especially since I've been doing a heck of a lot of voice work as of late. If you want to know where that voice work went, go ahead and take a look at that One Hat in Time mod that was just released by Wordy100. But yeah, I've been a little bit busy. So I think this is a good place to put it off for now. But hey, this is something to get excited for next Saturday. Sounds good. Anyway, I'm going to take my dear old time. But yes, that'll do it for the stream tonight. Ah, fine. Oh, here, we didn't have any donations, so there's the screen we need to go to. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to take a look at this after it's done, I'm still, like I said, I've been busy with a lot of things, but I am currently working on the backlog of videos. I'm going to start uploading them to the YouTube channel sometime soon. Can't say exactly when, but soon. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you want some information on some games I'm playing, well, this, obviously. I've been playing, like, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney type of stuff every Saturday for a while. Had to change it for a couple of days, but, you know, discount that. And then we have, well, I want to play Slime Rancher again sometime. I'm not sure what we're going to do on Saturday. I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like I really want to dive back into playing some Smash Brothers, because I haven't done the whole, the whole Switch setup for streaming as of late. And that would be a really cool thing to jump into. So, yeah, maybe I might do that. It really depends. Maybe, personally, it's been such a busy week, I honestly feel like I kind of want to just dive into maybe Slime Rancher on Sunday. We'll see. Depends on the bit. Pretty much. I'm very, like, freeform. Saturday seems to be the only thing that's consistently one game genre. Well, on Wednesday, I tend to do things relaxing. Oh, God. You know what? No. I don't have any form factor, really. Just Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. There you go. That is about it. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop flapping my gums, and I'm going to get a move on. Again, thanks for coming out. See you next time.